Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday here to you. Thanks for joining us for the special encore presentation of our scintillating 1099 webcast. So, popular question. I'm sorry, I should introduce myself. This is Brett from Lead Dyno, of course. Popular question that we field from our Lead Dyno users, maybe you're not even a Lead Dyno users, but we field the question anyway, is whether or not you owe your affiliates 1099s this time of year. Anyone who's done the taxes before for your company, you know, 'tis the season to get those 1099s out the door. Some of your affiliates made some money in 2018. Do we owe them 1099s to keep the IRS happy? So, popular question. I got the smartest tax guy I know, one of the smartest guys I know, period, on the line here, Bert Douglas, our principal from his own firm, Douglas and Liebig Inc. He's going to take you through the ins and outs of 1099s, keep you on the good side of the law here, and also mention things that you can set up to structure your affiliate payouts potentially in 2019 so that you may owe less 1099s, or maybe you might get around getting the 1099s out the door. So with that, I'm going to turn it over here to Bert. Bert, welcome. Thanks again for joining us.
Well, thanks, Brett. What a great inspirational introduction. I think I'm going to have you speak at my funeral, doing my eulogy. That's very nice of you. So welcome, everybody.
I hope that's not soon. I hope that's not anytime soon, though, Bert. We need you for the taxes.
No, I'm not planning on it anyway. It's not on my to-do list right now.
We know with your lifestyle, though, every day's a gift here. Okay, I'll let you go. I'll stop talking.
Okay. So this is a big question, the 1099 miscellaneous. What businesses have to issue them, when they have to issue them, what are the constraints regarding the dollar amounts that they have to exceed. So we're going to have a very quick overview on this, and I think I'm going to be able to address 90% of your questions as we go through it. So let's look at the agenda first of all for today. I'm going to explain the purpose of the Form 1099 miscellaneous. I'm going to explain the typical recipients, which affiliates or service providers, vendors, that you have to send these out to. I will also go over line by line the 1099 miscellaneous and which boxes need to be filled in by you before you send it to your affiliate or the service provider. We'll go over the filing requirements and the penalties. This is something that I've really got to stress. I recently went through an audit where my client, who I had inherited, was not filing 1099 miscellaneous, and the IRS agent went apoplectic, and my client got a $10,000 bill. So we really need to make sure that we are in compliance with the IRS regulations on this. And Brett and I added this very lastly, the brief overview of the 2018 Tax Reform Act. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act went into play in December of 2017. And for you guys, e-commerce business owners, there are some great additional tax benefits there. And what we're seeing for our e-commerce players, business owners, we're seeing an overall 20% decrease in liability. So I'll go over that very briefly. Okay. So let's talk about the purpose of this form. They are required for non-employee compensation for services. I'm going to stop. If you go out and you buy marketing material, that is not a service. You're actually buying a product, so you don't have to give that vendor a 1099. If you go out and buy a laptop from somebody, that is a material thing. It's not service, so you do not need to issue 1099 miscellaneous. You only have to issue them for non-employee compensation for services, so keep that in mind. It's only for individuals or affiliated partnerships. So if you have an affiliate who is a corporation, you do not issue them a 1099. Payments of $600 or more. So the threshold is if you pay an affiliate $550, you don't have to issue a 1099. If by the end of the year their total amount paid to them is over 600, then you have to issue a 1099. So it's not per payment requirement, it is an accumulated total for a calendar year. What I recommend so that you don't get caught is request that your recipient, whether it's an affiliated partner, get a W-9 at the time that you engage them, not when you prepare your 1099 in January. So right now, here we are, January 2019, we are preparing these 1099 miscellaneous forms for all of our clients for 2018. So get that W-9 up front. Let me show you real briefly what this W-9 is. You can go to the IRS's website or just Google W-9 IRS form, something like that. This will pop up. And you'll see that you need to capture in box 1 or 2 the name of the individual or their business's name, and then they have to check the appropriate box down below in section 3. Again, if they check C corporation or S corporation, you do not need to file a 1099 miscellaneous for them, okay? Only if they're an individual, partnership, or trust, or limited liability company. You want to capture their address under section 5, city, state 6, and then down below, see that part 1 taxpayer identification number? They can either give you their social security number or they might have applied for an employer identification number. Those are the 2 numbers that you're going to be using on this. Make sure that they sign it and date it. The IRS is reviewing these forms. So the recipients, again, independent contractors, consultants, your affiliate partners, even if the attorney, if you engage an attorney for legal work, even if they are incorporated, you still need to issue them a 1099 miscellaneous. And Brett, you and I laugh about this. The IRS doesn't trust attorneys. They want to make sure that the attorneys are reporting all of their income. And believe it or not, attorneys are notorious for not reporting all of their income. So even if your attorney's incorporated, send him a 1099 miscellaneous.
Hey, Bert, did you just say that the IRS is perhaps a little perceptive on something?
They're what?
The IRS is a little perceptive in terms of character judgment in a certain area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't want to offend any attorneys out there that might be listening, but I think.
Hey, Bert, we got entrepreneurs and business owners here. Don't worry, unless we got a little side Shopify hustle, in which case we welcome them to our world here.
Yeah, attorneys don't necessarily have the highest degree of integrity. But then IT support. A lot of my e-commerce business owners engage IT support for file servers or whatever. Make sure that you send them a 1099 if they are not incorporated. Handyman, I just threw that in there. Also, if you are paying rent, I don't care if it's rent for your office or if it's rent for equipment, you must send a 1099 miscellaneous to the landlord or your lessor, and I'll go over where you indicate that. Prizes and awards, there's a section on the 1099 for that as well. And again, I just want to emphasize, not needed when purchasing a product, supplies, goods. So it's only for services. And here is the 1099 miscellaneous. If you need a copy of this, again, you can go to Google and just type in form 1099 miscellaneous IRS form. So this is the form here. Most of my e-commerce business owners are using either QuickBooks, QuickBooks Online, or Xero, Xero. If you're using those three platforms, you can actually submit the 1099 electronically and then print off the 1099s for the recipients, and you'll have everything done electronically. But let me go over the form real quick. And Brett, I don't know, I'm moving my mouse right now. Can you see this?
Actually, I can, yeah. So it is
Okay.
mouse sized, but yes, I can see it. So you are good
Okay.
there on. So I saw it in the upper left there.
Okay. So this is the payors information. This is the recipient's information. So you are the payer. So all of your information comes up here, your name, address, all of that. This is your taxpayer identification number. Please do not use your social security number. I have a lot of businesses who are sole proprietorships and they use their social security number in there. Please don't use that. Make sure that you request a federal ID number for your business. If you ever disclose your social security number to anybody, it just opens this up for identity theft and fraud. So don't do that. You'll notice off to the right, this is the recipient's TIN. And I'm just going to go back to my W-9 here real quick. And that TIN is either their social security number or their employer identification number. Those are the two numbers that you would complete this section. Then you need to fill in their name, address, and city and state. This is where the rents go. So if you are paying a landlord or if you are paying a lessor for equipment, that rent amount goes here. The other box that you need to pay attention to for your affiliates is box number 7. This is where the non-employee compensation goes. I know we've got a couple of e-commerce clients that give out prizes and awards and things like that. That would actually go under the other income. See this box 3 right here? That's where the prizes and awards go to. The rest of these probably don't pertain to you except this one box, proceeds paid to an attorney. If you pay any attorney anything, always include it in box 14. And I'm not seeing, do we have any questions so far, Brett? I'm not seeing questions.
We have one from Jolise. Let me click on this. I think we need to get to this because she says, "Great intro, love the humor." We're not sure what she's talking about. We're trying to be real serious here. She says, sounding a bit low. Bert sounding a bit low, and maybe that I'm so loud that in contrast. But yeah, I guess Bert, if you want to get a little closer to the mic, go for it. She's got her volume all the way up on her Mac. There you go. You sound louder now.
Okay, so let's do a test. Can you guys hear me a little better?
Yeah, I think you sound better. If anyone wants to throw that into the questions panel, perfect, Shiraz. So we are good to go. I know we have indoor and outdoor voices. I have what's sometimes called a stadium voice. So it might have been the contrast. So I think we've got Bert up to the arena level here, and we are good to go. So thanks for that feedback, and we will let you get back to it there, Bert.
Okay, because I'm not necessarily a wallflower, so that's kind of out of character for me to be quiet, I think, Brett. Okay, so let me go back up here, line by line. We reviewed the payer's information, that's your information, your identification numbers, the recipient information, the amount paid, and the type of compensation. We've reviewed all of that. Keep in mind, these are really the 4 boxes that you want to pay attention to. Rents, if you pay royalties, that's a little tricky. So if you pay royalties to somebody else, call me and I'll kind of coach you through that. We have box 3, other income, again, prizes, awards. And then box 7 is really where you're going to indicate your affiliate partner's amount that you paid them. I'm going to stop here for a second. If your affiliate is paid with a credit card or PayPal, you do not need to issue a 1099 miscellaneous. The IRS kind of changed their requirements about filing 1099 miscellaneous in 2016, I think. So if you pay the affiliate or any service provider with a credit card or through PayPal, you do not issue them a 1099 miscellaneous. So what we do in our firm, we have a lot of service providers, and we pretty much pay everything via credit card except for our landlord, of course. But our service providers and our affiliates, we pay with credit cards. We don't have to issue a 1099 miscellaneous to them. So that might remove a lot of excess compliance away from you if you pay everything with credit card. Okay, filing requirements. When to file. Reporting period is a calendar year, not a fiscal year. So again, anything that you pay from January 1 through December 31st of a year, that is the amount that you're going to be reporting on these forms. The recipient should receive their 1099 copy by January 31st. Just make sure that it's in the mail by January 31st. As long as it's date stamped by January 31st, you're meeting the compliance requirements. We have two separate filing dates for the IRS. If you paper file with the IRS, the due date is January 31st. And if you e-file with the IRS, the due date is March 31st, but you must issue the recipient, your affiliate, your service providers, their 1099 miscellaneous forms by January 31st. Let me go on here. Now, there's a couple of forms. The recipient receives a normal black and white 1099 miscellaneous copy B. If you are not filing this electronically, remember I said QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, or Xero, you can do this electronically through their module. If you do not file electronically, you must then attach a Form 1096. This is a transmittal form. And it must be in red. And you must attach all of the 1099 miscellaneous forms in red. I don't know why, please don't ask me why, but if you submit just a black 1096 or a black 1099 miscellaneous to the IRS, they will probably reject it, believe it or not. It's a stupid, stupid rule. That's why we electronically file all of our 1099 miscellaneous with the IRS, so we don't have to go to Office Depot or Office Max and try to root around for these red forms. Because even if you download it off of IRS website, sometimes they cannot scan a downloaded form into their system, so they do require you to go to Office Max and get these red forms. Let's see. This is the transmittal, so this must be attached if you're going to be submitting paper copies to the IRS. Let me just go over this real briefly so you understand how this works. You are the filer, so your information gets put here. Whoever you want them to contact if they have any questions, telephone number, email address. And then again, this is where your employer identification number goes. Please do not submit it with a social security number. Again, I'm trying to be as cautious as possible with our individual clients because the individual fraud is so rampant right now. So really take care of your social security number. Now, if you go down here, this transmittal form can be attached to all sorts of 1099s. The one box that you want to check is this box right here under 1099 miscellaneous. You would check that box and then indicate right here how many forms are being attached. The other thing that you have to include on here is the total amount reported with this form. So you would just run a tape, adding machine tape or Excel, add up all of the forms, what the total amounts are, because the IRS wants some kind of a check number to ensure that they received all of the 1099 miscellaneous. So I'm going to stop right now. Brett, do you have anything to add here or any other questions that I may not be seeing?
I was just going to ask you why the IRS rejects the form. Just let's circle back on that one. Just kidding, Bert. I think we're good. I think we're good on this stuff. Good on questions as well. Thanks for checking in.
And I've got to warn everybody, now with the furlough, remember Congress hasn't, or the president hasn't signed a budget yet. The IRS is down. You can call their 1-800 number. They are down. And I've got a real serious issue. One of my clients just received a lien notice, and he owes around $500,000. No, Brett, it's not you. But they owe about $500,000, and they're about to lien his property. Well, we've already arranged an installment payment schedule with the IRS. There's nobody I can contact. I mean, I'm trying to contact anybody and everybody that I know at the IRS. They're closed. So as you're preparing this form, if you have questions, reach out to me, and I'll probably be able to answer it for you. Okay, so filing requirements. Make sure that you keep these forms for at least 3 years from the date of the return. So again, you submit the returns to the IRS on January 31st of 2019. That's 20, 21, 22. In February of 2022, you can then destroy all of these. And I'm not going to go over the 4-year requirement, because you guys really should not be withholding federal income tax backup on the payments to your affiliates. So I'm going to skip over that. If for whatever reason you do not get a signed W-9 from your affiliate or the service provider, then by law you should withhold before you pay them. But give me a call and I'll walk you through that. These are real one-offs though. Penalties. Okay, remember I shared with you this one client, we went through an audit and there was a huge penalty. The IRS is not being lenient on this anymore. They really want the 1099s filed because so many people are not reporting all of their income. So they have increased the penalties to $530 per recipient. So make sure that you file it. Before we get into the new Tax Reform Act, I also want to point out, I get a lot of questions on the state filing requirements with the 1099 miscellaneous. So we're located in California. As long as we submit the 1099 miscellaneous to the IRS, we do not have to submit it to California. Now, you may be in a state that does require the 1099 being sent to them along with copies going to the IRS. If you are in that state, reach out to me. I can give you some advice on that. So Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, this is what gets me out of bed now, because we've got so many new rules affecting our clients effective January 1, 2018. It's pretty exciting, but I want to go over a couple of notable changes. The Tax Cuts Jobs Act drastically reduced using itemized deductions. So they've limited the state and local tax deduction. So you can only deduct up to $10,000 now as an itemized deduction. So for us who live in California, our California income taxes are quite high, and many times they exceed that $10,000. Well, the maximum that we can write off is $10,000. Obviously, if you're a resident of, let's say, Texas, Washington, Nevada, Florida, those states have no income tax. You can still deduct your property taxes. So that still would be a deduction for you. And they've limited the mortgage interest expense for personal home mortgages. So just be aware of that. If your interest or if your mortgage balance is above $750,000, just be careful because not 100% of your mortgage interest may be deductible. It also terminated the use of the exemption deduction. So remember in previous years, you, your spouse, your children, each one of you received an exemption deduction of around $4,000. That has been eliminated. So don't worry about capturing that for 2018. It does not pertain to the tax code anymore. Okay, the majority of the time that I'd like to spend with you is going over this new flow-through deduction. We're getting a lot of press on this. It's a new code section, 199A. It's about 50 pages, and the tax regulations just came out, and they're around 500 pages. So this can be very, very complicated, and there's a lot of exceptions. For my e-commerce clients, they are meeting, again, they are meeting the requirements so that they can deduct 20% of their net income from their business. So I've got an example here. Your business net income is $50,000. Again, that's after all of your expenses, net income. You may qualify for a 20% deduction on your individual tax return. So don't overlook this. This is a real tax boondoggle or windfall for business owners who qualify for this deduction. There are many requirements to qualify for this flow-through deduction, but it's well worth it. So just keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions on Code Section 199A, please reach out to me. Anything that you want to add here, Brett, on the 199A?
Well, when you said boondoggle, I mean, I was just taken aback. I thought we were all serious. Business owners, here on that side of things. I will add from a personal standpoint that we do, and because we have a savvy CPA helping us with our business, we qualify for the 20% deduction. It's significant. So take a look at it. Talk to your accountant. If you need a second opinion or if you need someone to look at it, talk to Bert here and see if you qualify, because that's a huge win for your taxes from last year. So definitely take a look at that, because as you mentioned, most of the businesses that are using Lead Dino are more likely than not the pass-through entities. So definitely take a look into that one.
Yeah. In fact, all of our e-commerce clients, business owners, can meet the requirements for that flow through. So it's pretty cool. Let me go over inventory. There was a huge change with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act on inventory. I think most e-commerce business owners don't actually take possession of the item, the inventoriable good. So they're either drop shipping to their customer or they just don't take possession of it. But I also have some clients, some e-commerce business owners that have inventory. So they have a warehouse, a small warehouse, that they receive goods and then they sell from their own warehouse. So before, if you had inventory, you were required by law to be on the accrual basis method of accounting. They changed that. As long as your revenues are less than 25 million, and I'm assuming that most of your clients, Brett, are less than 25 million, you can now make an election to report on the cash basis of accounting. Much more favorable. So you can now do that even if you have inventory. So that was a big win for a lot of our e-commerce clients who do have inventory. Again, if you have inventory, just reach out to us. We'll coach you through that. Any other questions? I'm looking at the question section here, Brett. I'm not really seeing anything. Oh, wait, is there one?
We got one more in here, and let me read it to you so I seem useful here. So from Kathy, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Bert, I think I can field it. So question from Kathy: if we pay our affiliates via PayPal, do we need to report their income on a 1099-K? Answer is
okay. So
yeah. Go ahead, Bert. Go ahead with that one, and then I'll speak to it from a lead dino perspective when you're done with that.
okay, excellent. So again, we might be getting a little confused. A 1099-K, that's a different form, but a 1099-K is actually issued from the merchant credit card company. So if you're using, let's say, QuickBooks as your merchant provider, and you pay all of your affiliates through QuickBooks credit card, they will issue the 1099-K to that recipient. You do not file a 1099-K. Let's get back to the question. If we pay our affiliates via PayPal, you do not need to issue a 1099 miscellaneous. Okay? So if you pay them either PayPal or credit card, you do not need to issue a 1099 miscellaneous. Now, here's the problem. We do have some of our clients that use their credit card to pay their affiliates or their service providers, but then they also use checks. Well, for those checks, now we have to go through and discern at the end of the year which payments were credit card, which payments were checks. Then we have to add up all the checks and then issue a 1099 miscellaneous for those checks. So the answer to your question is, if you pay your affiliates to PayPal, no 1099 miscellaneous needs to be issued. So Brett, I'm going to hand it off to you. You have some input as well.
Yep, excellent. So Kathy, and as you probably know or are doing, you can pay via PayPal and Lead Dino. If you want me to flip screens and walk you through that process right now, I'm happy to do it. We in Lead Dino also support PayPal Mass Pay, which is a way that you can pay a bunch of people at once or everyone all at one time. So that also satisfies your PayPal requirement. Of course, we do have that little manual button, which would let you write a check, or if you're doing your little credit card or whatever, if you're doing something separate, in that case, to Bert's point, probably going to owe a 1099 on that income. But using the integrations on the Lead Dino side with PayPal, good to go there. And again, happy to demo that for you. Next question from Matthew: any issues or downsides when paying advertising services such as Google Ads or Facebook ads exclusively via business credit card? We do the same, Matthew. We've got Google Ads running Facebook ads on our business credit card. No downsides as far as I know. Let me tee it up to someone who knows more than I do, though. Bert, any downsides if you're running Google Ads, Facebook ads for your website? Of course, you're running it on you got your business credit card, which is good, what you're supposed to be doing. Anything else to know on that side of things in terms of properly categorizing those expenses into QuickBooks or wherever they are going?
No, and again, I want to point out, Google and Facebook are incorporated. They're publicly traded companies. So even if you paid them by check, not through PayPal or credit card, even if you paid them cash or by check, you would not need to send them a 1099 miscellaneous. It's only for services. So again, the way that I'm reading this, if you're paying Google, Facebook for advertising, no, you would never have to issue them a 1099 miscellaneous.
Cool. Very good. Yeah. So good to go there. Key is that those are, of course, corporations here. So we're on that side of things. We are good to go on the 1099 front. And with that, looks like we're good to go on questions. So for follow-up questions, so let me give you Bert's info here. He's got it up on the screen. So Bert D, he's got Jen as well, who we work with. They can give you a hand. Phone number is on the bottom of your screen there. So that's going to be 916-929-9290. www.yourcpateam.com is going to get you their contact info. To get a hold of me, anything you got about this webinar should go back to me. I'm sure you know where to find me, but Brett at leaddino.com. is going to get you back here. Our website, leaddino.com. We've got the live chat people on. They're on 7 days a week. They go 24 hours a day through the work week. We'll have people on Martin Luther King Day. So contact us, contact Bert. We can get you help on the tax side of things or anything else. Otherwise, we will let you go, and thank you for joining us on this special encore edition of our webcast. And Bert, thank you for all of your insights and advice, and at a price point we love. Great complimentary insights here. So thank you again, sir. Anything else to add before we let everyone go here?
No, I thank you, Brett, for the opportunity to speak before your users. I think we've handled everything and addressed all of the major issues. Again, we are available for you. Just reach out, either call Jennifer or call me, and we'll be able to coach you through any issues that you have, you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Bert. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thanks for the kind words here on the content questions screen. So thank you, Matthew, for the kind words. Jolise for thinking that we're funny. I will tell my wife that when I get home to help give her a little confidence. Somebody enjoys the jokes here. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Great weekend ahead. If you're enjoying the holiday, have a great holiday weekend. And again, stay in touch. Let us know what we can do with help with your 1099, with your affiliate stuff, anything else. And we do hope to hear from you soon.
Okay, bye.